Armin then asks if he did this just to set them up as heroes and to save all of humanity. Eren replies with, "That's right." I copy this verbatim. "That's right. All remaining people in the world now owe you a tremendous debt. The world will hold you in the highest regard. At least that's my plan." Now, this is where I think a lot of people would get lost, because this isn't what he was trying to do, right? This wasn't his motivation. That wasn't it at all. This whole time since the time skip, we've been pretty sure his motivation was to stop this cycle of hatred by eliminating all of the threats outside of the walls. That's been his deal for a really long time. And just to further elaborate on that, like, look at this. "Not everyone outside the island is our enemy. Just like your mother. Most of them would suddenly be killed without ever understanding why. I know. But the only way to put an end to the cycle of revenge born from hate is to bury that history and the civilization that created it deep in the ground." Literally his own words. So this goes against that completely, because now he's saying that this is the only way to set them up, right? One of his biggest motivations just got denied right there. One of his biggest ones, right? Because when Eren started the story and his mother died and he swore vengeance on these Titans, he said, "I just want to kill all the Titans." And that was his big thing for a long time. You know, being born in this world, I want to destroy all the Titans. And that was his motive for a long time, until he found out what was in the basement. And he decided that, oh, these things are just victims all the same. If I wanted to stop something, it doesn't really make sense to go after the disease. You don't try and cure the symptoms, you cure the disease, right? So the disease would obviously be all these people on the other side of the ocean who were sending waves of Titans at them and using scorched earth tactics in order to bleed them out. That makes perfect sense, right? So his idea would be that if you were to remove everyone doing all that shit, they could just live happily. Now, does that equate in genocide? Yes. Am I okay with that? Only a little bit, and for like a certain reason. I don't really care about an ending involving genocide or not. What I care about is Eren's character remaining intact. What I cared about was his motivations remaining true to him, and for him to not really just become a hypocrite. That was kind of what I was really wanting from him. Basically, if Eren grew up and because of all the shit that happened to him, he turned into this like bad person that wanted to just fucking kill the whole world. That's understandable, right? Because we saw him grow up into this person. We saw all the choices build up on top of each other, which led to him becoming this like cold individual who might make that choice, right? Whether it's good or not, that doesn't even matter. It's just him as a person having his own agenda and then following it. But instead, that was all just a persona. I'll cover that more in a little bit. So Eren confirms that 80% of the world is rumbled. That's pretty brutal. But can you see the problem here? So 80% of the world's dead to the rumbling, which obviously means that the remaining 20% of the world still exists, plus paradise. That means that there's still people alive to let the cycle recontinue. Right? Like the whole point of going to lengths to kill everyone is to wipe out any chance that someone would just restart this war off of revenge. And only killing out 80% of the world leaves out the possibility that that would happen again. You could almost say this is the worst way you could do it, because these measures are really bad and will be fruitless unless you go all the way. If you want to be like, we'll just kill them out, they can't hate us if they're dead, then make sure they're all dead. Because if you don't, like, people have gone to war over way less. If you think that these remaining people, even if they're not in a state where they could right away retaliate, even if it's not in this generation, we've seen cyclical and like institutionalized hatred in characters in general, right? The way that the Marleyans treated the Eldians and the way that they were forced to treat their kids about themselves, all this like propaganda and shit. Yeah, there's all these people left, and so if there's people left over who remembered what happened, they will tell their kids, hey, there was this one guy from this one place and he killed the whole world. His people live on this island. Why don't we just go wipe him out in the name of our ancestors? People do that shit and have been doing that shit for years and years and years. Like that's humanity in a nutshell. Like everyone just hates for no reason and then they carry it on for their ancestors. So like it's really implausible that an 80% rumbling is anything other than the worst outcome, because he went to extreme lengths to kill but didn't kill enough. He's left with a shit ton of extra dead people and enough people left over to continue the cycle, right? So he didn't even accomplish his goal. He just murdered a lot of people. Pointless murder. It becomes pointless now that the cycle is enabled again, or the cycle has the ability to be enabled again. That makes the whole thing pointless. Because you could have just gone a different way about it. You could have just had your people killed off. You could have gone with Zeke's plan, but you didn't. Like, his goal was to save his boys, and sure, he put them in a better place of power afterwards, like in a good place to get set up, but you're setting up the overlying theme of cyclical hatred is still there and glaring at you, and it won't go away. I think that's like really kind of gross. Eren's entire motivation for doing this changed instantly, and then his goal just died in front of him. Moving on. And so he mentions the founder Ymir. That's what he says. Ymir choosing Mikasa was what led to the end result. Everything was only for the sake of reaching this end result. All I did was to follow this path. This is what he said verbatim. Armin replies with, so that was the future you saw at the medal awards ceremony. Eren replies with, Armin, my thoughts have become incoherent. The influence that the founder's powers bring about have no past or future. They all exist at the same time. Alright, that's kind of crazy, right? That's so crazy that it retroactively affects the rest of the story. You can't just do shit like that. Like, what he's basically saying, right? So, like, before the founding titan was even injected into him, he was affected by the thoughts and the power of him having it later in the future. Since time it's all one thing for him. It's like a blur. You're sitting here like, so you had the ability to affect literally everything in the story at any point. Everything was in your control. If anything didn't go this way, then it wouldn't lead to the exact conclusion you needed. Eren's basically saying that he understood that he needed to reach exactly this point where Mikasa would cut off his head inside the fucking mouth of a titan while Ymir's watching in order to satisfy Ymir's random fucking love fixation on some dude who abused her 2,000 years ago. And I'm just supposed to be okay with this. Like, that makes no sense. And the reason it makes no sense, and another thing that he, like, even doubles down on, it shows a picture of Eren talking to Armin with, like, super regret on his face. At that time, it was not Bert's time to die. And you can basically see that he infers that he directed the giant titan of Diana away from Bert to go into the city and then kill his mom, which would then give him the motivation to start doing all this shit. So literally everything had to happen in order. So he had to kill his own mom, by the way. But, like, the biggest thing about this is that it retroactively shits on a lot of the story. Because if he knew everything all along, why didn't he do stuff differently? That's the part that, like, makes it the worst, is that you introduce later on that that he knew what was going to happen, and he was following a route that was dedicated to getting to this point, and yet he didn't even take the best route possible. In case you're wondering, like, what could he have done differently? Well, here's something. Yeah, actually, I'll get into that in a bit. After he confirms that he killed his mom and that it was literally his direction that enabled that to start all this shit, their past journey continues, and they're going back to the beach basically, and Armin asks Eren, he's like, yo, what do you really think of Mikasa? And Eren says he doesn't really know, and Armin just knocks him on his ass. He's literally just like mocking Eren. This causes him to like break down crying. This is verbatim too. I don't want that. I don't want her to find another guy. I want her to have feelings only for me. Even after I die, I want her to hold me in her heart for a long time. Now, like, he wants to be with Mikasa and everyone, and then they exit paths and everyone gets untitanized, right? He gets in there, he asks him about Mikasa. He has a breakdown saying that Mikasa was actually really important this whole time to him, and that he would hate to see her with another man, even though he family zoned the fuck out of her the whole show in manga. Armin calls our Giga Chad pathetic, right? Everyone starts getting untitanized, right? So this is where I started to panic. It's like, what the actual fuck? Is this the same main character that I've been reading for the past few years? So let's talk about the best route to get to the point that I was talking about before. Eren stated that his memories are incoherent now. He can see the past and future and all that shit. And he knows what needs to be done in order to reach this ending. All right? So let's rewind back to the point where everyone was just talking about the rumbling. And the idea was proposed to just feed Zeke to Historia, turning her into the Beast Titan, which would then allow her to create as many offspring as possible, which would be royal babies. They would have royal blood, and then also having the Founding Titan, they could activate the rumbling whenever they want, right? That was a pretty good idea for stalling. Pretty good idea. And his reasoning for not doing this was, I can't sacrifice my friend like that. I don't want Historia to go through with that. If she becomes the Titan, she's effectively getting a death sentence on top of becoming like a breeding machine. That's kind of weird and inhumane. Sure, I agree. But if you knew that at the end of this, everyone was just going to get untitanized anyways because you were going to get rid of the curse, why not just feed Zeke to her? She'll be a Titan just for a little bit, and then you'll just break the fucking curse. Like, there was so much extra shit that went on needlessly just because of this. And, like, I just don't know what happened to his character. We watched this guy grow up for 138 chapters. And by confirming earlier to Armin that he saw the outcome and understood what he needed to do in order to get there, that makes his entire personality a persona post-time skip. It's like he regressed, but maybe they're just trying to say that he never even progressed to begin with. He's saying that this entire time, all the actions that Eren made were calculated in order to reach point B, which was this ending of no one being titanized, the curse ending, yada, yada, yada. But we watched this guy grow up. We watched him grow up for 138 chapters. We watched his mom die in front of him. We watched him hate Titans with everything he had. We watched him get training just to kill Titans. We watched him convince people that it's not over and humanity can fight Titans, and he just wants to kill. And then he grows up, all right? He develops. He realizes that it's way more nuanced than that. There's humans at play. They're the ones pulling the string. There's more than just these Titans. And to just needlessly aim your anger at these Titans is pointless because you're trying to cure the symptom and not the disease, right? I talked about that earlier. So basically, all of this character progression just got undone. It was all fake. Him being this cold motherfucker, ruthlessly pursuing his goals to wipe out humanity because he figures that they're not worth, or them living isn't worth his friends' lives on the inside, and like there's no other way for paradise to survive without everyone else being gone. That character wasn't real because of this chapter. That was just a persona. That was literally just him pretending. With all of his motivations clearly in view, like a lot of his actions make little to no sense. Like I have, just for example, let's pull up this. So what was this all about? Why'd that have to happen to innocent people? Why did so many have to be eaten alive? I don't understand. Why, Reiner? Why was my mom eaten by a Titan that day? Well, because we reached the wall that day. Why did you breach the wall? My mission. Alright? This is Eren literally just being a mental terrorist to Reiner while knowing the answer to all of his questions. For no reason. Manipulating Reiner at this point does nothing. All he wants to do is die. He really doesn't do much. The scene doesn't serve to do anything other than make me wonder why he fucking asked this question when he knew the answer to it. Right? How about this? How about this? You two. You're not soldiers, you're not warriors, you're just murderers. You massacred people who'd done nothing wrong. You're mass murderers. How about this? Why did we even go to paths to have this interaction with Ymir? You're no slave, you're no god, you're just a person. You don't need to serve anyone, except Karl fucking Fritz, for 2,000 years. Like, why? Like, he's telling her she doesn't need to, but she still does. Like, there's... How about this? The fucking friend zoning of Mikasa. Why is Mikasa just like his world now? You'll never have to take care of me again. Like, you get to this point and it's just like, why did he write this, man? Why? Yeah, this was my biggest problem. What he did to the characters. Like, literally leaving aside everything else, right? I was pro-genocide ending because it was what Eren wanted to do. But if Eren was trying to do something else, I'd be fine with him doing something else. And I didn't get the genocide ending, and that's not even why I'm mad. Like, Eren still almost effectively accomplished his goals, almost. But what I like the most about Attack on Titan, before the last chapter end, what do you like about Attack on Titan? I'd be like, yo, it's got really good character development, right? It's really cool watching the story of someone who grows up hating something to growing up understanding it and then fighting for stuff. And like, Eren's a super compelling character. You get to see him go from like, I want to kill all the Titans, to if we destroy our enemies over there, will we finally be free? He's seeking freedom. He's a freedom fighting Andy, bro. Wanting to escape life in his like metaphorical and quite literal cage. But all of that was just a persona used to get away, or to get from point A to point B in the story. It wasn't really real, because all of that was just him pretending. He wasn't really like that. In reality, he is still the same selfish, cares about everything. He doesn't want to really kill everyone. He doesn't want to kill himself. He wants to be with Mikasa. Like, none of that was in the character we watched develop. Like, him cutting ties, I'm not trying to just like say like being edgy is the only good way, but like the way he developed made a lot of sense. So just undoing it just doesn't really, it sits really wrong with me. It really feels like... Anyways, that was only half the chapter. Let's keep talking. So basically, after everyone gets untitanized, and with tears in their eyes, they just start thanking Eren for what he did. Every single one of them. Her dad survived from Marley, right? So hypothetically, unless you want to tell me some weird freak accident happened where only Annie's dad made it out of Marley's getting stomped. I'm sure a good amount of them are left. And these are the people that literally the starters of this entire fucking war. So when you rumbled 80% of the world, you didn't even start by killing off entirely the people in the war. You left them alive. You left alive people who, before you rumbled the entire world, had reasons to kill you. Why? And they're still alive. Are you... Ancestry people, like people who give a shit about their ancestors a lot, will 100% go to war over this. If you tell me realistically that if you knew that this nation of people just fucking annihilated the world, as soon as you're off your ass and you have a force good enough to take them out, you take them out, bro. They killed the whole world. Like, what? It literally makes no sense, right? So these seeds of revenge are just waiting to be sowed because they probably didn't kill everyone in Marley, right? It's not a wild stretch to guess that if one person from Marley lived, more people from Marley lived. And this is where a lot of that concentrated hatred was, right? They're not going to just be like, oh, okay. Yeah, no, you guys killed literally my entire town and the rest of the world. No more Titans though? Yep, that's good. Them not being Titans isn't going to take away the fact that they were on the side of the dude who just purged the earth. He didn't really feel like a neutral enemy at this point. He felt like he came from paradise. That was their perspective. Everyone wanted to kill the giant attack titan and wipe out paradise. It wasn't just like, yeah, we'll stop the attack titan and then just leave paradise alone. Like, that was never a thing, right? If anything, they just take them over because they're weak now and they have all this fucking moon rock under the base. So Historia also came back. What was the point of her entire character? She was really important in the middle of the story, but only barely. Let me get this out of the way. As far as shipping goes, don't give a fuck. I'm anti most ships. But a lot of Eren's motivations, he was really not down for sacrificing Historia, which at the time, she's one of the boys from the scouts from the good old days. You know, you gotta protect her, you want her to live out her best life, whatever. There's still like a decent chance that since they brought up the fact that she mysteriously gets impregnated and the fact that she has royal blood, which means that she could have a baby that could be used to activate the rumbling of Eren Touch. I thought that she would be more pivotal to the story, but what did she end up being? She was nothing. Like, she got knocked up by her childhood bully, the farmer. There's all these random scenes of her just waiting, not being able to contribute anymore because she's pregnant. We think, okay, her last contribution will be the baby. And she has the baby, and it's the farmers. So you're sitting here like, why was it even teased? What was the point? I don't really understand why all those panels were even wasted. Why even panel back to her if it's some random fuck baby, right? Literally, what's the point? She... like... And Eren doesn't even get a good ending. Eren just fucking dies, and he doesn't get to get with either of them. Eren literally gets with neither of them and dies like his brother. Just an incel... So what does that mean? It's hard to say. Going into this, like going into 138, I'd rate SNK a hard as fuck 9.5 out of 10. And with easy fucking justification for rating it a 10 after the ending was anything other than atrocious, retroactively ruining garbage. But I didn't get that. So what does it mean? I can't honestly say I can ignore this. Like, it felt like it was written out of spite. It really did. It felt like this whole thing was written out of spite. It feels like I invested a lot of time in characters that were just fucking hollow and pointless. And it feels like the story was super contrived for no fucking reason. And it was so contrived that all of his, like, simple mistakes look even more retarded. Right? Because if you go back in time, Eren shouldn't be making mistakes with fucking foresight, ever. And he has control, like the founding titan, while you're in Path, you have control over the non-shifting titans. That's why he was able to just direct Diana away from Bert. So like, is he responsible for all the fucking non-shifter related deaths too? Was he intentionally having every single non-shifter titan kill non-important people on purpose so that important people would live to fill in their role here in this like bullshit destiny that he saw play out? It really just feels spiteful. Like, the worst thing is, like, I get, like, secondhand embarrassment from, like, even recommending this shit to people. Just thinking about, like, all these people where I was like, yeah, bro, Attack on Titan's sweet, bro. Like, really cool character, just, really dark, you know? It has all these really interesting themes and complex characters. And then all of it gets shit on in one chapter. Like, I feel like you have to go out of your way to do something like this. I'm on the copium tank as much as the next guy, but I cannot buy into the super copium. That would be an anime-only ending. That being said, said, I don't even want to watch the fucking anime anymore. The thought of seeing this ending actualized makes me so mad that I don't even want to touch the fucking rest of this show. Having to watch this shit get animated would fucking infuriate me. On top of, I'm gonna have to see the fucking reaction of all of you normies who watch the anime and either praise it because they don't get it, or they also hate it, and like I fucking sympathize with them, right? I would definitely sympathize with all these other people who are super invested in the anime only. And just the thought of all these people having to go through that, I wouldn't wish this on anyone. It's like you invest all this time into a series and then it's just fucking for nothing. It's hard to not reach this conclusion. There were parts that I didn't mind, but as a whole, this thing is just like a fucking slap in the face to the whole series, easily.
Armin asks Eren why he continues the rumbling, and Eren answers with an "I don't know, but I had to." This response is as bad as the "only Ymir knows" line. Isayama is once again just showing the world he doesn't give a fuck about any of this because he can't give a proper answer to questions he fucking asks. The worst of chapter 139 is when Eren starts crying about how he wished Mikasa would never move on from him. He, in essence, wants Mikasa to be a slave to him for the rest of her life, which contradicts what he said in the previous chapter where he wanted her to live free and move on from him. This man, Eren Yeager, the man who wants to be free so bad he becomes a fucking bird, wants Mikasa to be stuck to him forever. The worst thing about Eren liking Mikasa is Mikasa was completely obsessed with him forever, and prior to Eren getting all these memories when he had touched Hisoria's hand, he could have confessed and banged Mikasa a million times over. What was one of the best main characters I had ever seen turns out to be a crying little baby who whines about things not going his way. The execution of the reveal that Eren is the one who caused his mom to die is just so bad. It's so rushed and it's only in one panel, and it just doesn't get brought up again. It ruins all of the Eren and Carla scenes and completely destroys one of Eren's main motivations on why he wants revenge on the Titans. It just felt like it was there for shock value. We already had a reason as to why Dinah went to Carla. It's just a shock value twist that damages Eren again. Eren was extremely upset over Historia being turned into Titan, but that's pointless now because he knew Titans would be gone in the end. Eren claims he did all the rumbling so Mikasa could arrive to behead him. This retcons and throws away every single piece of motivation that Eren had prior to this. Eren's basic beliefs prior to chapter 139 is to get revenge on those who caused the death of his mother, protect his loved ones and home, and to become free. As seen from the flashbacks Zeke and Eren have during the past, Eren has always been like this, pursuing freedom and whatnot. Eren decides to do the rumbling in order to protect his home Paradise, but in order to do this he must genocide the rest of humanity. He says bury the history and civilization that created it, ending a cycle of hatred. He wants revenge on those who created and helped sustain the cycle. That's why he was so disappointed when he learned of humanity beyond the wall, and why he is so sad in chapter 131. Eren is such a cool character because of all of this, but instead his motivations are changed. The rumbling will kill 80% of humanity when his OG goal was to wipe out all of it outside of the walls, and his new plan is to wipe out 80% of humanity and make him seem like a villain so the other 20% doesn't get mad at all the Paradisians. Eren is trying to bring the world together when he said beforehand that would never work, and if you have seen the new pages from the final volume, newsflash, none of this worked either. It just shits on Eren entirely by rewriting his character just be doing things for Mikasa and Ymir. Eren's whole plan was to guarantee the safety of Paradise, and now all that is left up to coin flip, and Paradise still ends up getting destroyed. His new beliefs contradict everything from previous chapters. One of the nice points in the story is that it seemed like Mikasa never understood Eren, but now this new Eren is the one Mikasa dreamed about.
Bare minimum, I only needed one thing, and that was Eren's character arc not to be wasted, to feel satisfied with his arc. And let me tell you, I do not feel satisfied. What did I just read? What did I just see? It is the worst thing you can imagine. The chapter starts with Armin and Eren having conversation as children, where we get the Lelouch ending explained. Eren wanted to get everybody to hate him, so when he's defeated, the world sees the Eldians as heroes. Bro, what? This is not even set up to be part of Eren's character. He, looked down on it. There's a conversation with him and Pixis that would humanity, come and unite together against a great big foe, and Eren just gives some answer like, no, he doesn't think that's true. That's the season 1. That's the very beginning of the story. And here Eren is, I'm gonna get everybody to come together to defeat me and it's gonna be good. It doesn't even make sense. It's not in line with his character. This entire chapter is assassination of Eren's character. That all the stuff that Eren did beforehand, it literally means nothing. All the character growth he's gone through, all the sacrifices he made, literally means nothing. All those lines, I will keep moving forward until my enemies are destroyed, just pretending. Because I was born into this world, just pretending. None of it matters. It has no impact. I don't think Isayama knew who Eren was. At the end of the day, Eren ended up just being what the plot needed him to be. A lot of people use that interview, Isayama doesn't like characters who lie. But Eren ended up being used as just a foil for everybody else. He was set up to make Armin better, or Mikasa's arc, or whoever else. didn't do anything. It's not worthwhile a journey. You cannot sit there and watch episode 1 again. There's no point watching from the beginning. I made a video why Eren Yeager is compelling, and one of the reasons is he was one of the only people who was pushing for freedom before the series even starts as a child. And then, it cements it when he wants to, to a different type of theme, when he wants to kill all the Titans when he sees his mother die. Well, he killed his own mother. He sent the Dina Titan past Bertholdt straight to his mother. Yeah, it's... And then he had the gall to ask Reiner, why did my mother have to die? This is so stupid. This is dumb. He killed his mother, the one person he loved most in the world. And I could potentially allow that if he did the ANR ending where he goes on and kills the rest of the world. It was another thing he had to sacrifice. But he can kill his mom, but he can't kill his friends. But yeah, let that sink in. He killed his dad, his mom. He can do that. His mom, who basically, once he learned about her and she got him out of his post-uprising arc, post-Rice depression, where she said he's already special because he was born to this world. He made it so he killed her. Like, what? Just think about that. He got his mom killed, but he couldn't do it to his friends in the name of peace. Eren leaves the world in a worse place than it started it. He kills 80% of humanity. He got, the Alliance to team up against him to go to some Willy Tybur ending where they had to be seen as heroes. Oh my god, it's so bad. Because I'm pretty sure, like I mentioned the Pixis thing, throughout the series, it's shown to have not really worked. And the story, Armin asks Eren, did he really do it for them? And that leads into another big, F you to everybody, is that Ymir Fritz actually loved Karl Fritz. I will not be convinced that this is the ending he had planned. All the scenes with Historia, the conversation. Well, why would Historia ask Eren? And Eren loved Mikasa the entire time? This is bullshit. There is nothing in the story that showed Eren loved Mikasa romantically. The only thing is found in 138 in Mikasa's dream. And that's it. Every time you see Eren getting annoyed at her, feels like he's being infantilized. He found somebody in Historia who he admired. They had secret conversations. He told her his plan. None of that's brought up. The conversation about her asking him, how many people do you know who go up to a platonic friend and say, hey, what do you think about me having a child? Like, a female to male. Like, I'm going to be repeating myself because everything about this is so stupid. It is bad. It is terrible. I'm telling you, this is a list of all the worst things, and 80% of the population was killed. Eren leaves the world in the worst place because now the Jaegers took over, and now they're trying to expand because they're afraid their world's gonna think. There's not even a peace ending. Eren's point in the story is he killed 80% of the world's population, leave it to a bunch of hardline Jaegerists who are now going to continue the wars. He changed nothing. He made things worse. Honestly, Zeke's plan would have brought more world peace better than what Eren did. Every character who died before the ending is a better character than anybody who stayed alive at the ending. I don't want to hear anybody coping that this is an acceptable ending. And dude, the fucking bird, dude, the bird swoops in. Why is the last scene a bird, dude? This is like fucking pseudo-intellectual nonsense. What is this meaning? Like, Mikasa sitting there getting her scarf pulled by a bird? Eren Yogurt from Mikasa's dream was a better Eren than the actual Eren. The main character has went against everything. You cannot enjoy Eren. You cannot watch him in season 1. I'm gonna destroy all the Titans. Yeah, I guess by dying. Dude, my man killed his mom, killed his dad, and then killed himself. It's... It's not enjoyable. What is satisfying about that? There's not even a final showdown. There's no battle of ideologies. There's nothing. This is one of the worst endings possible. Game of Thrones is going to be compared to this everywhere. And this abysmal garbage of 139 just comes out of nowhere. Just look at it. It doesn't fit. Eren's character is wasted. Everything we liked about Eren is thrown out the window here. He killed his mom. He literally loves Mikasa and doesn't want to see her with anybody. Dude, my man went straight incel. This whole last chapter is like, how do you assassinate characters by Isayama 101? Just watch. I don't know how many of you guys keep up with it and look at, the favorite character list. Just watch Eren Yeager drop from whatever. I think last time I checked he was 16. Just wait and see and watch him drop down the list because everything good about him is gone. Every one of his cool lines in the series don't mean anything. They literally is pointless. See, all his character growth is gone. When he realizes, oh my god, every arc with the Historia, why? Why is that in the series? What is the point of those chapters? Why have those interactions? Why give us so many interactions to Eren and Historia, how well they fit together and how he appreciates her and how there are all these like side glances and things, and then you give no interaction with Eren and Mikasa where he does anything positive for her. Everything between in that relationship came from Mikasa's side. If you are going to actually try to make that into a ship and make it heartbreaking that they can't end up together, then make Eren show some interest in her. Why would that be so hard? You want to write this sappy romance angle into it? Then do it correctly.
Say again?
If you are going to actually try to make that into a ship and make it heartbreaking that they can't end up together, then do it correctly.
What's that?
Then do it correctly. Can you imagine, like, sitting there, like, Eren from the, you know, War in Paradise, and just imagining him sitting there thinking, man, I love Mikasa so much. It hurts. I don't want to die because I want to be with Mikasa forever. Dude, what? Where is this coming from? This is out of nowhere. All right, let's let's keep it cool. Dude, I'm speechless. Eren's character is entirely destroyed. I might even be repeating myself at this point. If you're watching the series from the beginning, there is no reason to see it through. He doesn't achieve any of his goals that he sets out to. Eren is a slave to destiny. Eren is a slave to blah blah blah. I guess the only thing he did was remove the Titans, you know, LD defenseless. I guess nice job for that, Eren. Him killing his mom is yeah, that one. And none of the stuff. What did he show Grisha that made Grisha give him the Foundling Titan and then the Attack Titan? What was the rest of his conversation with Historia? Why were these important scenes that were left untold? Man, my man watched too many superhero movies, man. Guardians of the Galaxy. No, there's nothing satisfying about this at all. Surpassing the father, the sins of the father not being continued by the blah. Dude, he died a virgin. That's all you need to know. Incel. Oh my god. You took a character that was beloved by many, hated by many, a character people felt strongly about, and just massacred him. Look how they massacred my boy. Like, honestly, this whole entire video could just be how they destroyed Eren's character. What was the point of the entire thing where the scouts dedicated their lives? Is this what it was for? For endless war at the end of the series? Nothing was broken. The wheel isn't broken. It's not even that Eren is killed. You didn't just kill Eren. You massacred him to his core. You made every single one of his interactions before the ending pointless. I'll keep moving forward until all my enemies are destroyed. What? No point to that scene. I'll kill them all. I'll destroy the world. On times yelling as a kid. Doesn't matter. No, you won't. I was born into this world. You shouldn't have been. It would have been a better place. Man, Isayama didn't answer any questions. In fact, if Eren has the power to, like, control things from the past, man, he could have opened up so many different options. Might as well just done Zeke's 50-year plan, dude. It would have been better than this. At least the Eldians would still have Titans. Mikasa, I feel sorry for anybody who liked Mikasa-Eren ship, too, dude. You guys got butchered. Mikasa's now just sitting there alone under a tree with his grave by herself, mourning Eren forever while wearing a scarf. Why do her like that, dude? Mikasa literally, I thought she had a character arc in 138, but she regressed. She killed Eren and then kept his head, and she sits by it under a tree. I'm telling you, she's gonna catch that bird. She's gonna get that bird, put it in a cage, and say, "You're safe now, Eren."